This video is probably also going to have 2 books in it. I should keep braiding my hair so that I can go to sleep tonight. Um, so this book doesn't even have a Google listing, and I'm pretty sure that's because of how short it is, probably. It is called Dragon Dodgers. It is a 2014 book by VR Cardoso, and Amazon listed as a coming of age book, teen, NYA, sci-fi, and fantasy. It's only 80 pages, and I am not excited because you know how I feel about YA at this point. There's this guy. His name is Enrig. He wants to be a watcher because he can spot dragons easily and better than everybody else. Merik, the boss, promised Enric's mom he wouldn't take him on with him. His mom doesn't recognize him anymore for some reason, so Merik concedes to his wish. Some guy named Targon and his band of tattooed people are on, like, they're on their way to, like, help some city or something like that. Enrig doesn't want to stay a runner. Enrig doesn't want to stay home. He wants to be a runner, and he sees something. It's a dragon, and they're in a different quadrant, though, so he's not supposed to say anything, but, like, they sound the alarm. If they sound the alarm, then people will run in the direction of the dragon. But, you know, too late, dragon's here. Enrig nearly dies, but some runners save him, and it was Targon and company. And Enrig and fam live underground. Surface runners are chased by dragons. Enrig wants Targon to take him. Targon doesn't want to. Targon gets the king to listen to him for some reward or something like that. His group is called the Dragon Dodgers, and they want a mission to collect the reward. They have to kill a dragon, which no one has been able to do. People have tried to fake it, but no one's been able to do it so far. His group doesn't want to do it, but Targon tells them to sleep on it. Enrig is out until he tells them that he knows of a shelter halfway between here and their destination, which is like a mountain, because he was like out running it or something like that. I don't actually know. I don't know what's going on with my part here. Hang on. Targon has a wife and child, but he's been away for years, so she's with another man. There's a lady in the group, Anwe. She's mad at him for his commitment, and you shouldn't be sleeping with married men, but okay. Targon's men doubt him as a leader, and Enrig knows about the wife and son abandonment, so they go. I'm not really sure what that has to do with anything, but Enrig doesn't really know where they're going because the shelter is hard to come by, and Targon is mad. But Enrig goes off on his own, but he finds it. He falls down and hurts himself, and then a stranger comes up to them, and he is a wizard, and he says that like he knows how to kill a dragon because his master taught him how to do it. So yeah, I need to finish this braid so that I can turn the page on my notes. Just a moment. I'm not very good at doing these because, like, I can't see behind my head, obviously, and I don't have, like, 2 mirrors where I can do that whole thing, and even if I did, looking at things like that always was difficult for me. So anyway, the guy's an alchemist and he's going to help them with their plan, but the king's counselor, like, ruins it. The king's counselor was assigned to go with them for some strange reason. He gets killed, obviously. Targon didn't tell everybody the plan. Not poison. They're going to use glowstone. They're going to stab it. So the alchemist helps them, and they're traveling, and the king's counselor is dickless. He also dies at this point, and now the group is splitting even more. Anwe gets taken by a dragon, and Targon is still fighting, but they can save her and kill the dragon. So they do kill the dragon. And then, there's a crazy disloyal one. His name is Sirach. He kills everybody else. And Balcazar, the alchemist, he was the one who had the plan the whole time. And he's like, I'm going to kill you, Targon, because, you know, reasons. And he's like, everybody in your crew is dead. And Targon's like, everybody in my crew isn't dead. And then Enrig kills Balcazar. I read the description for the next book. I don't think Enrig is in that book, and if he is, then he's like a throwaway character because he's not in the description. Targon is dying, so he tells Enrig to go back to the king and get the stuff and give his wife and child some of the money. It reads like a prequel should. It wasn't bad. It's just meh. Enrig wasn't there for most of the book, so why did we start with him? Targon's crew was already near brokenness, so all of this isn't shocking. Not my type of journey. I only finished it because it's 80 pages, so... I wonder how this book ended up down here, though, because all of the books that are, like, a few, like, not even 100 pages, those should be first. I don't know how this ended up back here. I kind of just wish that it was more from Enric's perspective, because we start and finish with him. This next one is probably going to run over 10 minutes again, so that's fun. So... one of the things that I want to start doing on this channel is called an informed opinion. And what I want it to be is, like, there are books that I have read that I have opinions on. Hang on. Wrong series. I'm sorry, wrong books. An informed opinion is something else. I will talk about it later. This is where I'm going to be reading, like, adaptations of books. So, like, Pride and Prejudice and Romeo and Juliet. Those are the ones that I'm starting with. So this book is called Queen Mab. Her name is, the author's name is Kate Danley, and this book also did not have a Google listing. It is the first Romeo and Juliet adaptation I will read. The Fairy Queen, Queen Mab, and Faunus are playing with the Montagues and the Capulets, whichever destroys the other will end in victory for one of them. I think she falls for Mercutio, who, if I'm not mistaken, might have been gay, but that is also a modern interpretation of it. It's a 2014 fantasy book. Also, in case it's been a while since you've read Romeo and Juliet, Queen Mab was not an arbitrary name chosen just because it sounded cool. There, in Mercutio's speech, he talks about Queen Mab, and in Shakespeare's play, she is the fairy's midwife, and yeah. So, you know. Queen Mab is duped by Faunus, and he steals her bowl along with Lord Montague and Lord Capulet. He tricked her, and Mab declares he'll die because they can't hide from her forever. This is like Romeo and Juliet's grandparents, so Lord Montague and Lord Capulet were friends at this point. And, Mab wants to destroy them, so she's the one who ends up starting the feud. And she's having her fun and goes to attack Lord Montague, but Juno comes out of nowhere because he is one of her subjects. So she punishes Mab for doing this by making her pretty to herself, but ugly to everybody else. And the only way she will ever be pretty to someone else is if someone else can love her. So we're doing that old chestnut. And, yeah, she doesn't remember why it happened, though, so that's fun. She gets her bowl back, and everyone regards her with disgust, so Mab chases them all away from her castle. Faunus warns that this punishment is too severe, and Mab will be back, but Juno is unafraid. The Montagues have Romeo. Queen Mab promises Juliet. She gives the opening 2 houses line as a prophecy to Lord Capulet, and she thinks Lord Capulet will forget, even though he says he won't, and he paid in kindness to her. So sometime later, Faunus is bored, and he wants some kindness, like literally kindness. Mab is loath to give it to him, so they play a game. One house will rise, the other will fall. If they both rise or fall, then the game isn't over. Mab sees Mercutio at a party, and she wants him, like, a whole lot. He does speak and dance with her, and Mab already hates Romeo because, reasons. I'd hate him too. He and Juliet got 9 people killed in the span of, like, 3 weeks. Mab is also the reason that Rosaline doesn't want him. She, like, did a thing to Rosaline, and now Rosaline doesn't want Romeo. So that's pretty hysterical to me. She goes to Mercutio, and he wants her, and she's taken aback and tries to deny her heart, but Mercutio wants to, like, stay with her, and Mercutio also warns Romeo to stay away from Rosaline. Yeah. Tybalt goes to Faunus, and he wants glory for the Capulets, but is told that he's going to die, and he has to stop the houses from joining, and he'll live. It's just fair, because if Romeo and Juliet hadn't gotten together, then Romeo would never have a reason to kill Tybalt. Faunus warns Juno again, and she decides that if House Montague falls, then Faunus will get her Mab's power. Mab doesn't know about this. Mab is all on the Mercutio train, and Juno isn't acting. She's just sitting idle. Mab doesn't want Mercutio dead and makes him forget her, but he never actually forgets her, and her heart aches. And Tybalt goes to her, and the danger hasn't passed yet, and he'll need to strike first. Paris is mentioned here also. Like, he doesn't really make very much of an appearance in this, but he doesn't really make much of an appearance in anything after Shakespeare's original play either, so I guess it's only fair. Everybody always forgets about Paris. I wonder if I can find an adaptation about him, because everybody always forgets about Paris, and it's like, he exists too, y'all. Mab doesn't want Paris to be with Juliet because he's awful, but Mab can't let House Capulet fall, so Faunus is also playing Mab. She can't let House Capulet fall, but the Montagues fall is her desire. But if Montagues fall, then she'll lose her power. So just so we're all on the same page, Mercutio gives that speech about Queen Mab, and we've passed Romeo's depressed whining about Rosaline to Benvolio. The first 20 chapters of the book happens before the play starts. Mab visits Lord Capulet and says that tonight Juliet will meet Paris, but we all know what happens with that. In the background of the balcony scene, Mercutio and Mab have their own balcony scene, and Mercutio remembers everything. Faunus mocks her for being out during the day because Queen Mab deals with dreams. I haven't really explained her powers, but I refuse to explain until I really understand what's going on. P.S. I didn't. Like, he wants to end their wager, but it doesn't. So, we all know how this goes. Tybalt kills Mercutio, and then Romeo kills Tybalt. And Mab is pleading, but he refuses. Mab is pleading for Mercutio to, like, live, but he doesn't. He's, like, dying. And House Montague is, like, gone, and dreams are no longer hers. So she takes Mercutio to be with her, and Faunus brings Juno to scold her and lies about her. Since Mab's heart saved Mercutio, her face is different. So Juno gives her 3 days to rectify everything, and Faunus is mad about it. I don't really understand Faunus' whole motivation, like, if he just wants power. Like, I get that he's supposed to be, like, the god of lies and deceit, but still, I just don't really understand it. So the whole thing with the poison, and Queen Mab is watching, and Lord Capulet won't listen to Mab or Juliet. Mab tells Faunus that they could have been gods together. Faunus doesn't care. So the whole thing with Paris, poison dagger, Faunus won, but oh wait, 16 pages left? Faunus calls Juno to strike Mab down, but makes the key mistake of mentioning how he was to protect House Montague, and Juno says he helped cause its end. So Faunus now rules nothing, and everyone will see him as evil and run, and Mab, like, brings Romeo and Juliet back to life so they can live together, and Mercutio also lives. I don't know if it's, like, a dream world or if it's actual, because, like, 9 people are still dead, but I guess Romeo and Juliet aren't, and neither is Mercutio. I kind of wish that they'd all stay dead. It feels more like concrete consequences, but whatever, I guess. They speak in Shakespeare talk, which makes my brain a little weary. Queen Mab is a very good character. She changes into a character that is round and unstatic. I didn't know what the opposite of static was. I couldn't remember the word for it. They mentioned Midsummer, which is funny because it's kind of like Shakespeare's plays on, like, poems. All of these, not poems, Shakespeare's plays, all of these, like, gods are, like, playing around in his plays, making things happen. That's kind of funny. I like Romeo and Juliet being in the background because it's kind of funny, and Mab and Faunus are the ones who set the play in motion. I'm not for happy endings to Romeo and Juliet. I like when they die because it's a tragedy. A Renaissance tragedy doesn't always end in death, but this play does, so that's important. I also do like the idea that Montague and Capulet were friends at one point. So that's cool. I still probably got, like, 3 more braids left, so I'm going to try and do this in 1 more video, because God help me, I have so much hair.